It's time to sit back and check out the RCWR show with Lee Sanders. Get fun, in-depth coverage and analysis from the latest in professional wrestling in AEW, WWE, NWA, Impact Wrestling, or the world of entertainment. From hit TV shows to your favorite sports like the NBA or NFL. All things music, movies, and beyond, while trying to make sense of this crazy world we live in. All while keeping it honest, insightful, and interactive since 2011. And now your hosts, live from the nation's capital of Washington, D.C., Lee Sanders.
This is Lee Sanders with you guys. Y'all checking out an all-new RCWR show for this Veterans Day, Monday night, November 11th, 2024. God damn, is November going by so fast, y'all. I mean, before you know it, Thanksgiving is going to be here. I mean, it's so funny, too, because I don't know how the talks of Thanksgiving has been in y'all's respected household. We're here in the Sanders household. We've been talking about Thanksgiving, honestly, no bull. We've been talking about Thanksgiving since September. Now, me personally, I just deal with stuff as it comes along. My wife, on the other hand, she likes to be thinking about stuff months in advance. And I stay saying to her, yo, can you chill? Have some Diet Coke or something. Let's just one step at a time. Okay. Like we got to get through this first. But she's been talking about Thanksgiving since September. And I kind of get the reason why, because the next thing you know, boom, it's here. And then it's pretty much, so what's the plans for Thanksgiving week and everything? But yeah, November, man, I can't believe we're like practically halfway through the month of November. Hope you guys had a fantastic weekend. What did you guys think about tonight's WWE RAW? Sound off, let your voices be heard. You can post a comment. As far as polling goes, I'm keeping it simple tonight. I only have a poll up for X, formerly known as Twitter. Keeping it simple tonight. Look, not too bad of an episode. I appreciate the fact that in regards to Survivor Series War Games, the topic of interest came to who is going to be the fifth member for the Bloodline Original, as I like to call them, because as we saw on SmackDown, Sami Zayn, Usos, Roman, they all are on the same page now, and you're going, yeah, all right. It's nice how it all came together here. And what did I say to you guys in regards to Sami Zayn? I know I was saying a little something about Jimmy and Jey Uso, particularly Jey Uso. Oh, he's just doing the side quest, pay it no mind. But even though we didn't talk about it here enough on the show, I did mention quite a few times, maybe you didn't spam it enough like I was with the talk of Jay, but I did say Sami Zayn, he's somehow going to find himself going back to that main quest, the Bloodline quest as well. So it's nice to see how everything has just been playing itself out. But tonight's Raw was pretty much all about trying to find that fifth member for the Bloodline Original. And some very interesting power moves went down here. We saw Sami Zayn trying to recruit Seth freaking Rollins, and that fell on deaf ears, did it not? I did enjoy seeing Sami Zayn and Seth Rollins interactions there. It just had me kind of kicking back in my recliner going, yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing a matchup with these two, championship or not. I'd love to see these two do a little something of a program for a couple of months. And I like that. Keep in mind, you're following the storyline. And Seth Rollins, hey, look, I know how much you hate this guy's guts, but man, like we really need the help. I mean, can you just picture that for a second? I know this dude caused so much pain, caused so much suffering, caused so much strife. But look, if I can forgive and forget, if I can let bygones be bygones, like sure, like the balls on on Sami Zayn, the balls on Sami Zayn. I'm just looking at this going, no way, no how, ain't no way we're gonna see Seth Rollins go. Yeah, yeah, sure, count me in. Let's do it. Like, no, 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 no. And sure enough, Seth Rollins, dude, you must be out your ever loving mind. I mean, the way Rollins looked at Sammy, did he not look at him like, what the hell you been smoking? But then to see Solo Sikoa later on in the night try to make his pitch, it was so funny because it's all, not to get political, but tell me if I'm lying here. It was almost as if you were watching two politicians. This is why you should vote for me. I mean, it was literally like that tonight between Sammy making the argument for being that fifth member. And then later on, we saw, and we never did get at least not that I saw. If there was a development, I'm sure you guys will let me and the rest of the chat know. But we saw Jimmy Uso make a pitch without hearing it, but we knew exactly where everything was alluding to. Make a pitch to the current Intercontinental Champion and our boy. We got any dogs in the house? Oh my God, Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker. That would be a very interesting choice of a fifth member, would it not? But I like seeing these teases that's going on. It leads to a very interesting question right now, which is, and I think we definitely need to retitle this episode that we have streaming, but we'll make it be available on demand and everything, which is who will be the fifth member for the Bloodline original? Right. So we're getting these teases, and I got to be honest with you guys. I have the inkling, just looking into the crystal ball and everything. I have the inkling that neither man, neither Seth Rollins or Braun Breaker, contrary to what we saw tonight and what may continue to unravel over the course of the next little bit, I have the strongest impression that neither one of these men will be the final member for the Bloodline original. I think, if anything, what may end up happening, we're going to see a face that we have not thought about in a while. Well, you know what? No, I wouldn't be surprised if there were a decent amount of you guys going, no, you know what? I have been thinking about this guy and I want to know, like, where the hell has he been? Because, like, we should have seen him on programming by now. And it's so interesting because some people thought it was rather ironic that when Dwayne The Rock Johnson returned at the previous WWE pay-per-view, pretty much this guy has been absent since. And to our knowledge, there's nothing going on with him injury-wise. Everything is good with the man. We just have not seen him on WWE programming, and we thought for sure once all the stuff with Saudi Arabia was in the books, we'd see him back on television, but we have yet to see him. Say the name with me on the count of three. 1, 2, 3. CM Punk. I think CM Punk might end up being the fifth member. And man, talk about a very interesting semi homecoming, if you will, because everybody knows the story about how the Shield originally was coming up. They were supposed to be there with CM Punk, just the original origins of that and everything. What was that? I just got a weird little message. I wonder what that was about. Hang on here. Are we good? Yeah, we're good. We're good. I don't know what was going on with that. I saw a weird message pop up. I wasn't sure if it was something stream health related, but okay, we're good. I guess that was just I don't know, whatever. But no, you're thinking about the origins there, CM Punk, the original Shield, and all that. That'd be some very interesting dynamics there. CM Punk, Roman Reigns, that whole bloodline thing, the Usos. That's definitely something pretty fresh as well, mind you. So whether or not that will actually come to fruition, we'll have to wait and see. You guys can sound off on that. Let me know what you guys think. Like, yeah, CM Punk, you're for it or if you're against it. And if you're against it, who else do you have in mind that can be that final member and everything? But I do have the strongest inkling that neither man that I just mentioned before in Braun Breaker and in Seth Rollins is going to end up, yeah, you know what? Sure, count me in. I'm all in. I'm down for it. I just don't see that happening, y'all. So call it a gut instinct. And my gut instinct is usually pretty on point. So besides that, we saw Damian Priest and Gunther mouthing off to kick off the show. Nice little back and forth of an exchange that both men had. Of course, we all had got the alerts that Gunther was going to be kicking off tonight's show. Talking hot trash was Gunther about Damian Priest. Damian Priest coming on out there. Yeah, we got the alerts. We knew he was going to be opening up the show. We knew he was going to be talking about me, but now I'm here in your face. Talk that trash now. What's up? Damian Priest pretty much pulling Gunther's man card, letting him know, yo, ever since you won that championship, you ain't been the same man. You pretty much you ain't got that bite that I saw that you had when we fought for that championship. You know, you've just been escaping by the hairs. And I'm telling you, man, I know what I know. And right now, yeah, I'm smelling some weakness there. So much so, Damian Priest let him know if you really was that dog that you used to be, you would have been dropped me on my ass by now. And it hasn't happened. Like, go ahead, you can take the first swing. Then we see Ludwig Kaiser come out, and he's pretty much telling Gunther, why are you even putting up with this crap? Why are you letting this man talk down to you like this? Like, he's beneath you, he's beneath us. Let's keep this moving along. Once again, we see a rare instance here where Gunther is pretty much trying to hold off Kaiser, pretty much having him stand down verbally, physically for that matter. And we've been seeing, you know, you can't help but think about some of the stuff that Sami Zayn was saying to Ludwig off and on the past couple of weeks, and other cats that's been kind of teasing potentially the direction that Kaiser is going to be going in here. Those seeds being planted of an eventual breakup between Kaiser and Gunther. Kaiser's almost looking at Gunther like, dude, what's wrong with you? Like, I've been worshiping you. Like, I've gone to hell and back for you. And now you kind of switching the game up a little bit. You know, it almost reminds me if you are on top of your Power TV shows, it almost reminds me of Power Book 2 Ghosts. And without putting any major spoilers out there, but it almost kind of reminds you of Detective Carter and his right hand man and just the right hand man. Like, I can't think of the dude's name, but he's willing to get his hands dirty and then some, because it's pretty much like, yo, you know, I'm following you, like you the leader, like lead us, like what's up? And to see Kaiser, certain mannerisms, even he even did it tonight, you know, where he's kind of like, what the hell is like, who am I aligned with here? What's going on with this guy? Like, this ain't the Gunther that I used to. So I love seeing those seeds being planted. Gunther trying to attack Damian Priest, but got his ass handed to him when it was all said and done. Damian almost got hit from behind by Gunther, but was staring at him face to face. Gunther backed down. So I like how we're doing this rematch this go round where we have Gunther kind of second guessing himself, if you will, not necessarily a chicken shit champion per se. Not that at all, but definitely is, maybe you could say, I don't even know if rattled is the right word, y'all, but maybe he is a bit concerned about and questioning, yo, what's going on with me here? You know, I came up short at Crown Jewel, and you know, some of the stuff that's been happening with me these past couple of weeks, kind of off my game a little bit. Like, is he no longer hungry? He no longer has that dog in him. What's going on? So that's a very interesting dynamic that we got going on, because Gunther has so much to lose, but everything to gain, so to speak, right? He has everything to gain because if you're following the story arc, if he's able to beat Damian Priest, especially if there's no interference in it whatsoever, then he gets to make the argument that truly on the Night of Survivor Series, he did in fact become the better man, fair and square and everything. So I like this dynamic that we got going on here and everything. Some really good stuff. Miz making his return to WWE programming after he got pulp fictioned by the Wyatt Six. Karrion Kross not really liking the fact that Miz was just freely let go. He wants intel on the Wyatt Six. Miz saying he's a changed man. He wants no part with the Testament and he wants no part with the Wyatts. He's done. He's got his family to think about. He is a changed man. Hallelujah. He has seen the light. It's touched him. It just bam. He's woken up. You're looking at this, you're going, I don't know about that, Miz. I don't know about that. Karrion Kross didn't know about that either. As he said to him, well, what about what happened to my brother? Paul Ellering. Like, what about what happened to him? I want some retribution. I want some blood. Let me show you what happens. And they pretty much were dragging poor little Miz out there to the ring. You're following this. You're going, surely the Wyatt Six is going to pop up. Sure enough, they did. Miz looks as though this was a ruse when it was all said and done. But at the same time, Uncle Howdy apparently one step ahead, it looks like, despite the fact that when the lights went off, came on, Wyatt Six in the ring, Miz hitting Eric Rowan from behind with a steel chair. Uncle Howdy laughing his behind off. Miz kind of realizing, oh, snap, this guy like already anticipated, oh, hell, right? Pandemonium breaking loose. I think the Wyatt Six got the best of Final Testament there. I'm not really sure, but enjoying how all of that has been playing itself out. I still feel that what went down with the Miz being kidnapped was a bit hokey dokey for my personal taste. But I have been enjoying the back and forth that's been going on between these two respected stables. So if we could just try to incorporate more of what these guys are doing on social media into, because it just seems like in between the shows, they're just doing like this random cool stuff. And it's like, all right, I like the fact that you guys are keeping the story fresh and alive, but let's take some of these social media elements that you guys are doing because you're telling some really damn good complimentary stories. Let's incorporate these somehow into the actual shows. Why don't we? And yeah, I just think it sells. I won't say better, but the truth is, at times it does sell better than what we're actually getting on TV and everything. At least for my personal taste. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but that's just me personally. Let's see some other stuff. What happened else? Nice main event match, by the way. Although I felt it was whew, there was way too much cameos at the end of it there for my personal taste. Of course, I am talking about for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships, Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill taking on Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill retaining their titles, but there was just a great overlapping of cameo interference that was going on in this one, from Tiffany Stratton to Nia Jax to Io Shirai to who else was in there? My God. Um God, who wasn't there? It just felt like there was so many goddamn women in there, and the distractions just left and right. Um Weird, just really weird. I just felt it was just too much interference for my personal taste. I could have done without some of it, could have been scaled back a little bit, but other than that, Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair retaining. Commercial break really ate up a decent amount of this main event match. I mean, think about that for a second. This is your main event match. And as far as the amount of time that this match got, we're lucky if it was 6 minutes, maybe 8 minutes. And this was our main event match. Interesting note too. The commentary team very, very quick to point out that this was Jade Cargill and Bianca's Belair's 20th title defense. I'm hearing that. I'm going, two things are coming into mind. Wait a minute. One, these girls have defended the titles that many times already. Are we sure about that? And like, is this all coming from house shows or something? Like, how did we get to 20 so damn fast? But then at the same time, I'm also asking, like, who against who? Because like I'm having a hard time recalling off the top of my head, like who all they've defeated this go round. That like literally, and I'm hearing this as we're going off the air. Now, some of you guys would say to me, Lee, did you have a chance to look it? No, I did not have a chance to look it up. Did not have a chance to look it up. I'm not going to make any excuses. I did not have a chance to look it up though. But I'm hearing that going, what? The match itself, very mediocre. I couldn't wait for this to be over, quite honestly. So that was just my honestly, I would have been okay with looking back on this card. I would have been okay with Ludwig Kaiser and Damian Priest closing out Raw instead of the women's tag team championship. Kaiser and Ludwig, that was, that was another one of those matches where, and it sucks for me to say this because I've seen both of these guys now for a good minute, pretty good, talented young men there, but this match should have lasted much longer than what we got because this was one of those 6 to 7 minute matches that we got between Kaiser and Ludwig. I was heartbroken over that, really. I was seriously heartbroken over that. Seemed to be the main theme of tonight, too. Most of the matches that we got, it was like, I don't recall anything being over 10 minutes. Just pretty much just in and out, in and out. Pete Dunne taking on Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods looking on, not too happy. I loved how that instant Acme feud of a match had came about, resulting from some backstage interactions. Was pretty cool how that came about. Towards the end of the match, we saw Xavier Woods interfere, did a little something while the referee wasn't looking, but Kofi was able to see it clear as day. Kofi confronting Xavier, going, yo, my man, what the hell is going on? How you gonna? And Xavier telling him straight up, look, I'm doing what I need to do to help you out because you my boy. So, rather than be yelling at me, won't you get in there and take care of your business? Don't worry about me. Don't worry about what I'm doing. Go ahead in there and handle your business. Kofi, a little bit too long-winded, flapping at the gums there. Pete Dunne, able to come back, pick up the win. Kofi, pretty pissed off when Xavier Woods came to him afterwards, pretty much going, you see what I'm trying to tell you here? You see what I'm trying to tell you here? Kofi did not want to hear any of it. I love this continued friction that's going on here, man. I'm loving it. I'm continuing at the same time that I'm seeing all of this play out, y'all. I'm also thinking about what is the end game gonna be here, because we see and hear the stuff that's going on with Big E. He's continuing to do the stem cell treatments and everything. Seems as though his body is reacting to it well. But of course, the real question is, yeah, but will your stuff in the areas where it needs to regenerate and really heal and all of that, will it really kick in when it's needed the most, like what's going on here? And I got to give Big E a lot of credit. He's been very transparent with the entire wrestling community about his health and everything. So, worst case scenario, even if we're not able to get Big E in some type of a physical role, particularly in this story between Kofi and Xavier, can we just at least get the man as an on-screen character for this story arc? That's the real question. And I think we will. I definitely, I think it's a matter of time before we do see Big E involved in this. And I just want you guys to note something here and have this in the back of you all's mind. By the way, I want to take a swig of this before this bad boy gets a little too cold. Have you guys tried this yet? It is the new Starbucks peppermint mocha limited edition chilled coffee. This is how it looks. This thing is so damn good. I had some of this the other day and I said, yo, this bomb smells great too. It smells really great. And it tastes so good. It tastes so good. But I want you guys to have this in the back of you all's mind in regards to Big E. Big E will, and this is my bold prediction. My bold prediction. And I don't want people to say, oh, no. Hear me out. Because I'm going to take this a step further. Not only do I see Big E getting involved in this story arc, but in order to really push Xavier Woods as that bad guy, as I still feel ultimately it's going to be Xavier that turns. Look for once Big E resurfaces and all that, this could play out. Honestly, I think it's only going to play out one way, which is for those of you that's hoping Big E is going to get physical and all that. I don't think from the stem cell treatments that he's getting to WrestleMania season time, I don't think that's adequate enough time for him to get ready. I don't think his body will be. I honestly don't think so. Just because he looks good, like it's all about how that healing, bone marrow, the spine, the logistics, right? When you get right down to the meat and the potatoes, that's what it's really all about. You feel me? So, but I am picturing some type of a segment. If Big E is not physically ready in time, I can see something playing out where they're doing something with Big E, Kofi, and them backstage. And who's to say that you go to a match or two or three, you come back later in the night and you see poor Big E laid out on the floor? I'm just saying. I can hear the crowds groaning. I mean, I'm just saying. You can always do some stuff like that to further advance what you got going on there between Xavier and Kofi. But it kind of feels as though the way things are looking right now with this storytelling, it's safe to say everything leads up to Kofi and Xavier doing something at WrestleMania one-on-one. And I totally would be down with that. How about y'all? But I totally would be down with that. See, Bronson Reed calling out Seth Rollins, wanting to go at it again. Rollins coming out, bringing the fight right to him. Security detail officials breaking that all up. Later on, we see a backstage segment where Rollins gets in the face of Adam Pearce, tells him, yo, I want him. Give him to me. Pearce is like, I'm getting so sick and tired of you, mother. Okay, you know what? You got it next week. So we're going to see Rollins, Reed next week, the rematch. That should be pretty solid. Looking forward to that one. Now, you know what? If they have that close out Monday Night Raw, that'll be pretty damn good. I'd be all right with that. Let's see. Kofi Kingston, Pete Dunne. That was a good match, though. As far as honorable mentions, as far as, hey, this was actually pretty solid. This was pretty solid as well. For the little bit that was that we got of Pete Dunne and Kofi, nice matchup. Kaiser, Priest, nice matchup as well. Let's see. What else did we have from Raw tonight? Pure Fusion Collective. There's that energy drink. Taking on Damage Control. Nice opener. Nice opener. I will say it was a nice opener. Almost got 10 minutes. Almost got 10 minutes there. Probably the longest match out of the entire show for tonight, believe it or not. Thought Io Shirai, yeah, she came out at the end for the women's tag match there. I almost forgot about that. So I guess Damage Control are good guys now, right? I guess we're supposed to be rooting them on now. You got me. Why are we supposed to be rooting them on? I don't know, but okay, whatever, man. But yeah, Damage Control. Decent match between all these girls. I watched it on mute. There was just something about with the audio on where I found myself very distracted and not really interested in watching it. So in my case, I just ended up putting it on mute and just okay. And it did help me focus better. And I thought for what it was worth, they did pretty good for tonight. So girls, pat yourselves on the back. Y'all did pretty solid tonight. Somebody came back that we had not seen for a hot little bit in regards to damage control. I'm trying to think of her name right now. I kind of feel like Dakota Kai. Maybe it's Dakota Kai. If I type in her name real quick and I see her face, I'll be able to let you know if it was her or not. Yeah, I'm thinking the right person, Dakota Kai. We hadn't seen her for a couple of weeks. She came back and yeah, looking cuter and cuter. I'll give her that. I'll give her that. She's looking cuter and cuter. Besides that, I'm just trying to see if there was anything else from my notes here as far as Monday Night Raw goes. That pretty much. Yeah, we blazed through that real quick, y'all. It's so funny. Like, we get through these Raw recaps. I've been saying it off and on the past couple of weeks now, but we get through this so fast now because, that's the benefit of cutting off an hour, basically, where we're just like in and out. And I'm okay with that. It's still a breath of fresh air, these 2-hour Raw shows. It's such a breath of fresh air because the way these are going off now, you're going, wait, that's it? And then you're like, well, okay, not too shabby. That was pretty good. You don't feel like, and the commercials are just, okay, this ain't nothing. Like, we can bang this out real quick. This ain't nothing. Wrestling for this week, for this edition, pretty solid. For the most part. I think the biggest stickler for criticism, if you're gonna have any, is just the length of some of these matches. But make no mistake about it, the quality for the most part was definitely there. We got more wrestling topics that we're going to be getting into right here on tonight's show. So you picked a good night tuning in. Appreciate everybody that's tuning in, however you guys are doing it right now. Don't forget, next Monday night, 10:05 p.m. Eastern, minutes after WWE RAW goes off the air. Guess what time it is? It is officially our 13th anniversary show that we're going to be doing. We first launched this show back in 2011. In 2011. So next Monday, we're officially celebrating our 13th anniversary. We'll have the phone lines open as well. I'm actually going to reach out to a few people just to let them know that, hey, I'll be live. Here's the link. If you want to do a quick drive by, you can do a quick drive by and all that. And we'll see what happens with that. Anything will pretty much go, but we'll not only talk about Raw, latest in headlines, but we'll give you guys an opportunity, especially those of you that's been checking out the show for a long period of time. I know there's a decent amount of you guys that's out there. We'll definitely give you guys, show you some love so you can call into the show, all that good stuff. So I'm looking forward to that. That's gonna be nice. It's gonna be nice. I'm looking forward to it. Definitely looking forward to it. By the way, be on the lookout for you new music fans. I'm putting the final touches together, but I finally got around to listening to Jerry Cantrell of Alice in Chains. I finally got a chance to listen to his new solo album, I Want Blood. And I did a video review for it. I got it in post-production now. I'm just putting the final touches to it, but my goal is to release it sometime Tuesday. So it'll be uploaded to the YouTube channel. Feel free to check that out when you guys get a chance. Also, for those of you that have not seen it yet, I did this really cool class project. It was a news montage. I've had a few friends, family, and fellow students from my other classes. They either just talk to me in person, because they know when they're going to see me, or I got like an email or a text or whatever. It's like, hey, dude, your stuff that was actually pretty good. I'm like, you liked it? Like, and my wife said something very interesting to me the other day. It was probably one of the highest compliments that I could receive. Um, I always appreciate her criticism, critique. 'Cause she always tells me how it is. She never beats around the bush. If something sucks, she lets me know. But at the same time, she also tells me, okay, this is where you need to improve. And she said to me, you'd be a really good political analyst. I'm like, huh? She's like, yeah. She's like, you know all the inner workings. You've studied so much data. Combine that with your previous work in market research as an analyst and everything. Like, it's like just what I watched of your news montage. Like, going the political route and covering all things politics. It's like that might be your calling. Like, that's something to think about. I'm just thinking about news reporter, radio personality, but she throws this new little element into the mix, and it's like, huh? So it's nice to have options. Is basically what I said to her. She's like, yeah. She's like, but no, like seriously, think about that. I'm like, okay, all right, I'll think about that. For you, I'll think about that. But check it out. It's on the YouTube channel. I like the fact that there was one dislike, but like there was no comment. I was just like, oh, somebody's hating. I'm like, somebody's hating. And it tastes so good. That's all I gotta say. Anyway, love you guys. Love you guys. So let's talk about some more stuff. Kind of a relatively quiet wrestling week that we had. I would say, yeah, relatively quiet. Couple of interesting things went down. I know one thing that we can get into is the fact that Bruce Prichard and Michael P.S. Hayes, they apparently are on a indefinite leave of absence from the WWE. I don't know if you guys had heard about that, but uh, in the case of Bruce Prichard, we know that in the past there was some stuff that was going on with his wife, and if you watch that Vince McMahon documentary, I mean, it was put out there and everything by Bruce Prichard himself. So, as far as what exactly is going on with Bruce Prichard, nobody knows. It is definitely something personal that he is trying to attend to. So he's going to be gone for a bit. Shout out to Conrad Thompson. Conrad Thompson, he because I don't know if you guys are even aware of this, but apparently Conrad Thompson had in Bruce Pritchard's place this past week, JBL. We know JBL, he's pretty much been tearing it up left and right on the indies and everything. I saw just little bits and pieces of what JBL had did, and I thought he did a pretty good job there. But he stepped in the role for Bruce Pritchard. One thing that Conrad did say is that as far as Bruce Pritchard done with WWE, not the case at all. Conrad does not have a timetable on when Bruce is going to be coming back to the WWE. So that's just pretty much where things stand. But he did reiterate the fact that Prichard is still with WWE. And as far as the future of the shows go, with Bruce, still intact for all purposes. Like, nothing as far as the show goes, like it's not over. So take that comfort for what it's worth. Might not be much, but it's better than nothing, right? Hang on one second here. I just want to, for some weird reason, I am missing something very important. I'm trying to see if I can pull it up on here because it's something that I want to reference for you guys. So we have that's going on. And then Michael P.S. Hayes. In regards to Michael P.S. Hayes, like mum is the word right now. There's no real definitive, okay, what is going on with him? Is he like, nobody knows. Nobody knows what's going on with him, but hopefully whatever is going on, honestly, both of their ends, respectfully, hopefully, they're able to get it resolved. But, honestly, they can pretty much take all the time they need. It's like everybody will be, just fine and everything. Now, probably the biggest story of this past week that I was looking forward to talking about and unleashing on is this stuff with Dave Meltzer. I mean, 2024, we all can be in agreement. And boy, I tell you what, last year we did the Lee Sanders Wrestling Awards category, and Dave Meltzer won. He picked up a couple of awards. Okay. And it's not the type of awards that you want to be associated with. Okay. I can just imagine. I have a weird feeling that Meltzer is either going to match the number of awards he won the last rodeo, because I think the last rodeo, I think he won 4 awards. I'll have to double check, and I'll definitely have the information for you guys on the next show. I promise. Because matter of fact, I will put in a voice notation now so that I remember to check that for you guys. Look up. Nope, it's not doing it. Hang on. I gotta turn off Bluetooth. That's why. Look up Dave Meltzer Awards from the Lee Sanders show. Okay, so it's in there now. So I'll be able to check that because you guys voted. That's what made our polling so cool, is the fact that the way we had it set up, y'all just put in your own answers, and I basically calculated that way. And when we did it like that last year, everybody was like, yo, this is really open like a mofo. Like anybody could potentially win this, depending on if that's how the majority went. And I was like, yeah, like it forced you, the wrestling fan, to think, right? So it was cool how we did it. But Meltzer had picked up quite a few awards, but this past week, not good for Dave Meltzer. So everything starts off, I mean, just in no particular order. Meltzer puts out there as firsthand news that WWE is going to be doing their pay-per-view Backlash in Tokyo. And he got trolled big time, man, because it turns out, and everybody and their mama knew the account that he basically was pulling this news from. It was a spoof account. So we have the official social media account running around, Wrestle Votes. Well, there's this spoof account that's Wessel Votes, right? So it's like it's missing a couple of letters, in there and everything. So you kind of gotta, you know, but rather than Dave Meltzer scrutinize what he was reading, and I'm just kind of picturing how that might have went. I don't know. Maybe he had his bowl of, he looks like the type that would have a cheat meal of Fruit Loops, maybe 2 days a week or whatever. I'm just picturing him with a bowl of Fruit Loops, and he's just chilling at the table, messy kitchen. I don't know. And then he's just on his phone, and then he sees the Backlash stuff, and he just jumps up and down, and and he's like, that's about to be mine. And he, right, doesn't even cross reference, doesn't even, right, none of that. Just he puts that out there, right? And everybody knew, like, dude, what the, right? And he gets called out on it. Like, dude, like, this is from a spoof account. Like, this is fake. Like, there's nothing happening. Like, what the hell? And so Meltzer follows up with a tweet saying, oh, in regards to the Backlash happening in Tokyo, that was a fake report. And it's like, yeah, you don't say. It's like, but you're the one that, when you look at your social media following, my God, you had so many people. Like, where's the proper apology here? He never did that. It was just pretty much tweet and delete when it was all said and done. So you're looking at that, and my God, it's just, I got to tell you guys something. And this is coming from somebody that has spent the past couple of years and currently is majoring in media production and journalism. I am having a hard time wrapping my brain around the fact that Dave Meltzer, love him or not, this man somehow got a degree in journalism. And yet the number one most important thing that any journalist can and should do, as always, is cross-reference, scrutinize the hell out of their sources when they think they are coming across breaking news. Definitely cross-reference, scrutinize, get validation from as many sources as possible. And with what had happened there and the way that blew up in Meltzer's face, it just had me go, just two things. One, wow, Meltzer's WWE sources must not be as big as it used to be. More and more people must really be turning the other way when Meltzer be hitting him, when Meltzer be hitting them up, uh, you know, emails, texts, whatever. They must just be block, right? And block that number, report it as spam, whatever the hell the case may be. But then the other thing that I thought about as well as I was seeing all of this play out over the course of a couple of days was just, man, Dave, like if there was ever a time where you can just go, okay, you know what? I totally was wrong here. I was browsing just like most of you guys do. And, I didn't think nothing of it. I thought this was something legit because look, if he would have honestly said, look, I'm very familiar with the WrestleVotes account. I thought for sure that because a lot of the news that they've been reporting these past couple of years, it's been pretty solid. It's stuck. And I thought for sure this was something that was legit, and obviously I was duped because I missed just a couple of little letters in there that would have told me this was a bogus account. But he couldn't even do that. So you're just kind of going, oh, Dave, come on, dude. Like, seriously. Seriously. So for you aspiring journalists out there, yeah, I really hope that you were looking at how that all had played out and you're going, yeah, definitely don't want to operate that way because that's definitely one of the quickest ways to lose your credibility as a journalist, as a reporter. That's one of the quickest ways to lose your credibility is to, be reporting something that is obviously fake and then not accepting accountability for reporting that fake story. But wait, it gets worse, fam. It gets worse in regards to Dave Meltzer. Now, we alluded to it here on the show, but I definitely want to do my respected part. And not only do I want to, give flowers to this man while he's alive, but I want to let our respected listeners know that haven't done so already to please donate. And I want to give a shout out to Dutch Mantell. I love me some Dutch Mantell. Long before Dutch Mantell had got involved in podcasting. I remember this was probably about 10 years ago, fam. I remember there was a couple of times I had tried to reach out to Dirty Dutch to appear on the show. And one of the times that I hit him up, unfortunately, I think one of the times that I hit him up, he just wrapped up with he just wrapped up with TNA and he was on his way back to WWE. So the timing was just, and then there was another time I hit him up. And if I remember that right, he hadn't been on WWE television for like a few months. And then he told me straight up, yeah, just I can't. Three times I hit him up. I can't remember what happened the third time, but he was always very polite. I never got the impression that he was brushing me off or anything like that. It was just the timing was just always wrong. I do remember now. The third time one of my former co-hosts was like, "Hey, I'm very friendly with Dutch Mantell." I'm like, "Get out of here!" And we went back and forth, and I was telling him how, yeah, there were two, previous times I had tried to get Dutch on the show, and da 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 da. He was like, "Oh, just mention me, and I'm sure." And sure enough, I did do that and everything. And Dutch was like, "Oh yeah, I know exactly who that is." I was like, "Oh, but unfortunately, this is what's going on." Da, 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 da. And he wasn't long winded about it. If anything, he was just, "Thanks for keeping me in mind. Definitely try me again in the future." Right. So, um, Dutch Mantell, I've loved that guy as a wrestling fan for many many years. So imagine the fan that I am years back to hear that he's getting into the podcasting world. I'm going, man, well, if there's anybody that's got really great, fantastic, fun stories to tell, hilarious stories to tell, definitely Dutch Mantell and the wealth of knowledge that man has. God, that's a no-brainer. Like, you want that show to be successful and everything. And Dutch Mantell, and I sincerely mean this. I sincerely mean this from my heart. Um, Dutch Mantell, I wish this guy nothing but the best because this man is going through some hard times right now. For those that's maybe been under a rock, you don't really spread yourself out there to other podcasts in the community. Um, Dutch has been dealing with some serious health problems off and on for this whole calendar year. And you definitely have been noticing it because when you go, primarily to the YouTube channel, for example, and you might be looking for clips of the show or, wherever you get your podcasts, you're like, whoa, there's no new Dutch Mantell. What's going on here? And James Romero has pretty much been holding down the fort, has had, some little clips on the back burner that he's been making available on the channel and everything. And uh, Dutch has been having some serious health problems this year. He's been going in and out of the hospital. Part of that time, his wife, Kathy, and if I understand correctly, they've been married for almost 50 years, if not at the 50-year mark. She was taking care of Dutch for quite a bit. And then she started having some serious health problems. So she's been in and out of the hospital herself. Their daughter, Amanda, shout out to her. She pretty much has had to, take X amount of sick leave, PTO, trying to take care of both the parents. And, unfortunately, look, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, but North America, we've got the most fucked up healthcare system. You know, it really does suck the way that we have it set up. I mean, that'd be a whole completely different conversation for another time. But I just want to make sure that this is known crystal clear. That what's going on with the Mantell family, these are people that ultimately the GoFundMe was not created because we have that stigma, people begging for money. Like, understand the Mantell family, they, paid their taxes and making sure that they had money put to the side in case of emergency and all of that stuff. And for all those hospital stay visits, like that joint, it gets eaten up so fast. And then depending on who your, at least here in North America, depending on who your healthcare provider is, your healthcare provider is going to hit you up with, and I know this is going to upset people, especially outside of North America, but this is just how it works. Depending on who your primary healthcare provider is, they go, okay, so you are only allowed X amount of, you know, XYZ. And as far as your copay, you're going to have to pay blah, 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 blah. We're only going to cover up to, and we're only going to cover it if it meets these respected conditions. But then even at that, if it meets those conditions, we reserve the right to, you're only allowed. I mean, it's like the most stupidest crap that you can possibly think of. It's just it's a weird system. It's a weird, messed up system. So the Dutch Mantell family, they went through all the money, everything, just so quick. That's why ultimately the GoFundMe was created. How does this loop back to Dave Meltzer? Don't worry, we're getting there. But I did not forget about, but I wanted to mention all of that for context. So if you go on the GoFundMe site right now and you just type in Dutch Mantell, I mean, you don't even have to finish putting in Mantell. All you got to do is just type in Dutch. And then as soon as you do the space, put in MA, you're going to see it. And the first joint that you see is support Dirty Dutch Mantell's family during health crisis. And again, it's created by their daughter, Amanda Moore. And it looks like as of right now, they have hit their donation, their goal. They were trying to raise $100,000. They were able to hit it. It looks like they've got over $100,000, like 100,240 that was raised. If you've been a listener of my show for a long time and you have not donated yet, I know in the past some of you guys have donated when I've brought it to y'all's attention. Donate. If you end up donating, let me know. I will definitely do my best to give you a shout out. Hell, maybe I'll even send you I'm thinking about maybe doing a 13th anniversary t-shirt, limited t-shirt. Maybe I'll do something like that as well. How does this tie to Dave Meltzer? Oh, it's quite simple. It's a crazy ass story too. So Dave Meltzer, I guess on his forum or whatever, he mentions the problems that Dutch Mantell has been having health wise and everything, mentions the GoFundMe. Everything's good. Everything's good. You're listening to it, like, or you're reading it rather. Everything's good. But then where it goes downhill, well, you know what? I don't even think this part was downhill. Dave Meltzer took it upon himself to mention the fact that Chris Jericho and Tony Khan were the top donators. So you're going, okay, well, those of us in the wrestling community that are very familiar with a lot of these wrestler GoFundMe's, Chris Jericho he stay donating. Bless his heart. He's, no matter how you may feel about Chris Jericho, even his political beliefs and all that, one thing you got to give him props for is whenever there's a wrestler out there that needs help, they create a GoFundMe and it somehow gets to Jericho's, his realm, it gets to his ears or what have you. He always steps up and donates, tries to bring awareness to it and everything. So you got to give him that. Mentioning Tony Khan, like there's still really no issue, right? But when you're talking about, okay, top donators and all that other stuff, like he didn't mention the fact that he didn't mention the fact that Jim Cornette and his wife Stacy Cornette, they had donated, not for nothing, but it wasn't a coin in the bucket, right? Just a drop in the bucket. This was some decent amount of money that they had contributed. But for whatever respected reason, Meltzer does not mention them. Okay, cool. So where does the issue come with Dave Meltzer? Here it is. Dave Meltzer, while he's mentioning all of this, donors and all that, he points out word for word how Dutch Mantell, has been brutal to Tony Khan as a podcaster, even being critical of him when the promotion was at its peak popularity wise, and recently criticized him for the contract terms Swerve Strickland got in his recent deal. It is something when a former wrestler gets mad at a promoter who clearly can afford it, and what he pays the top talent. And he was doing it after he knew the new deal was put together that was going to make the company exceedingly profitable. Wrestlers using the old school, he doesn't draw money, and not understanding that this is not a ma and pa week to week business based on live event numbers, but one in a worst case scenario year. Jesus Christ, dude, put a comma in here somewhere or a period. Ooh. Whew. Worst case scenario year would generate $250 million next year, and that most of that revenue is guaranteed ahead of time. This is my whole thing. Why are we doing this tongue-in-cheek bullshit? Why are we doing this? Why can't we just let this be about, hey, this guy who's given a lot to the business, some of your favorite wrestlers from this promotion, at some point they all cross paths with this man, Dutch Mantell. Not looking too good for him and his family right now. Anything that you can do to help him out, go do. Why we gotta kick dirt on a person while they're down? I don't understand that. That's not being an American. That's not being a good human being. I mean, I'm just picturing, heaven forbid, Dave Meltzer is ever in a position where, and his, I don't know if he even has a wife or a girlfriend. I don't care to know personally. I don't give a damn. But I'm just picturing, like, heaven forbid something happens to him, and one of his friends, let's just leave it at that. One of his friends creates a GoFundMe. And everybody's donating and all that. And just picture some high celebrity, some high wrestling celebrity or whatnot. Oh, Dave Meltzer, who's been a cornerstone in all things wrestling reporting since, right? So they're right. Okay. Nice build up. Who doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about and is always inaccurate with his reporting? Has been called out by many wrestlers several times over the years. The most recent, just imagine somebody like, wait, whoa, time out. We don't need to mention all that. Right? We don't need to mention, like, this guy's got to go from me. He's not doing too good. Like, his health is, like, let's leave all that. Like, let's help the person out. If there was ever a time to go, okay, look, put your swords down. We're going into the holidays here. Let's show a little compassion here. Let's show some heart. So as you would imagine, with Meltzer saying that, that pretty much got him chewed out big time, even by some of his own subscribers. Some of his own subscribers even called him out on the BS as well. So that's why I always say to you guys, like, my God, you got people like this and others that's running around, and the way that they'll treat their base, the way that they will conduct themselves in reporting, whatever you want to call it. That's why I always say to you guys, I don't like telling people what to do with their money. I don't. Because at the end of the day, you worked hard for that money. If you want to blow $500 on whatever, man, have fun. Have fun. Have fun. Shit. I just saw online earlier today that apparently from the Christopher Nolan Batman trilogy, they're putting all the Batmobiles up for sale. It's going to be an auction going down. I don't know if it's going to happen before the month is out or what, but apparently the starting bid is going to be $3 million. Your man said, yo, can somebody loan me $3 million? Right? Right. And apparently these are drivable. There's nothing wrong with them. They are drivable. Just you obviously cannot in any of the 50 states, right? You obviously, but they are drivable. But $3 million.